Assalamu alaikum. Myself Ahkam Ansari, a student. I am back again with yet another video lecture of advanced web designing. In this particular video lecture, I will be talking about a new property of CSS, that is a display property. Display property is used to display a specific HTML elements in user's way. Users way, why I am talking about users way, because all HTML elements have by default or naturally its display property. Okay, either it will display in a block element or it will display in inline element. Means, what is the difference between block and inline? I just want to tell you, all HTML tag, okay, all HTML tag which are supported by the HTML language or which are given by the HTML language have its natural property to display on browser. Means, some HTML element will display in single line, okay, means it will not display in new line, and some HTML elements will take a new line to display. That new line is called as a block, okay, or that block is called as a section where block element will display. Okay, for example, if you want to write H1 tag, okay, every time when you use H1 tag, H2 tag, H3 tag or up to H6, it will display in new line because it will generate a block, and inside that block this element will display. In the same way, we have some other category or other elements which come under category of inline display property. Means it will display in same line until your page width or the number of character in a line, in a single line will ends. Okay, so when the line completed, so it will move to the next line. Okay, so these elements are called as inline because it come under the category of inline display property. These are the given by the HTML. Means some HTML element will display in a block and some HTML element will display in same line, that are called as a inline. Okay, so I have given H1 tag is a come under the category of block element. Every time when you use H1 tag or H2 tag or up to H6 tag, it will take new line to display. In the same way, if you use A tag, B tag or some sub tag, we have a number of the HTML tag which come under the category of inline. Okay, so the basic thing is that display property is used to manipulate or change its natural value or its original value of display that is given by the HTML. Means you can change its property of display. Okay, like, see the definition. The CSS display property is used to display an HTML element in different ways. Different ways means you can display inline element into block, you can display block element into inline. Even we have some more value like inline block, and we have one more element that's called, one more property that's called a none. When you use none property of display, so the element will remove or element will disappear. So we have basically four values for display property. Means how you are going to display HTML elements on your browser. Okay, whether you want to display every element in new line, whether you want to display all element in same line, and we have inline and block. We have one more property called inline block, and we have one more called as a none, where the element will not display on your browser. Okay, so let's have a look on some HTML elements or some which are come under the both category. Okay, so these are the category. There's a block category and there's a inline category. So these are the some examples which come under the block category, and these are the some examples which come under the inline category. Means by default or natural values of these HTML elements is inline. When you use these elements, it will display in inline until your line will complete or according to your page width. Okay, but in this HTML element, even if you use a single word in that HTML tag, it will display in one line only, and if you use the second time it will display new line. Okay, I just want to show you the output. First I will tell you the natural value, then I will move to change some values. So I'm just going to start notepad. Okay, so this is notepad. I am going to start my HTML code. Doc type HTML. Okay, now the first tag will be HTML and last tag will be HTML. Between these two tags I have to use some other tag like head tag on top, then body tag, that the main tag of HTML, body opening tag and body closing tag. Now I am going to add H1 tag. Okay, this is my H1 tag and this is closing H1 tag. Okay, instead of writing over here I just want to close on same line. This is H1. Okay, here I am going to write welcome to KMES. Okay, I have written welcome to KMES. Till now I have not used any CSS or any display property. I just want to display the default property. Okay, so here I am going to write abc dot html. Okay, let me save the file. Flip back to your browser. This is abcd. Okay, welcome to KMES is coming on your browser. Okay, let me zoom so you can watch clearly. Welcome to KMES is coming. We have just created a simple. Now if I add same thing, Control C I have pressed, and at same line I am going to press Control V. Means in the same line I have added one more H1 tag, welcome to KMES. When I click on save, you will notice that okay, the new H1 tag which I have just written will come after this line. Okay, or it will display in new block. Let me refresh. See, means every time when you use H1 tag or H2 tag or H3 tag, it will display in new line. Okay, this is the natural property. Okay, this is the natural property of HTML elements. Okay, if I add one more time H1 tag, welcome to KMES. For example, I have written KMES 1, here I have written KMES 2, and here I have written KMES 3. Okay, means I have added in same line, but when you will notice that it will display in 3 different line. Getting? Welcome to KMES 1, welcome to KMES 2, welcome to KMES 3. I have used 3 times H1 and it is display in new block. Okay, new block display. This is the default property. Okay, this is the default property. In the same way, I want to add one more thing after this. Okay, now I am going to add one more thing called, for example, B tag and closing B tag. Okay, here I am going to add one. I am going to add some content, for example, KMES. Okay, I have added KMES. Now you will see the result. This is coming in new line. Okay, but if you add B tag, sorry, I have written BR instead of B. Save it. Now when you refresh that, again there is a no change. If you add one more time B tag, Control C I have written and Control V I have written. Okay, means in the same line I have. When you notice in the first line, I have displayed, I have written 3 times H1 tag with different content. In first content I have KMES 1, I have KMES 2 and KMES 3. but when you see in output, these HTML elements are displayed in different line or in new line or in a block. Okay, but in the second line, in the second row, I have taken 2 times B tag. The first B tag have KMS and the second B tag have college, for example. Okay, the second B tag have college. Now see the result and see the difference actually. See here, the first B tag and the second B tag is coming in the same line. Okay, even if I change the line, okay, I have changed the line, means I have written both B tag in different line. The first B tag is in different line and the second B tag is in different line. Okay, see, when I save the file, there is no change in result. See, these are in the same line. Even if I add one more B tag, I just want to copy, Control C I have pressed and Control V. Now I want to change. Here I am writing a com, means I have added third B tag. I have added third B tag. Now see the result. Still it's coming in same line. Are you getting my point? Here I have used 3 times B tag. The first B tag display KMS, the second B tag display college, and the third B tag display ACOM. But all the content is displayed in a single line or in the same line. That is called an inline property of display. Inline display property. Are you getting my point? This is the default, or this is the natural property of B tag, which is inline. Okay, and it is displayed in new line. This is the default property, or this is the natural property of H1 tag, that is a block element. Means every time we use H1 tag, it may be written in same line or it may be written in different line, but the display property will display in new line because it's come under the category of block elements. So it will, the default display property is block, and this default property is inline. Now by using display property, you can manipulate. Okay, these are the natural property. Yet now we have not used any CSS. This is the natural property of HTML element. Okay, some element will display in this manner, means it will display in a block. Every time it will display in new line. Some HTML element will display in same line or in line. Okay, like here we have used B tag 3 times, but the content is displayed in a inline. Inline means in same line. Okay, and this is a block element. Now by using CSS display property, you can change. You can change as per your requirement. Means if you want to display all welcome to KMS, welcome to KMS 1, 2, 3 in a same line, then you can change. So how we can change it? First I will show you this B tag, then I will show you in this one. So where I am going to add a style tag, because I want to add CSS. Okay, so I have added style. Now I want to make this inline element, I want to convert, I want to change, I want to manipulate these inline display element to block element. Okay, so here I will write B tag and I want to change the display property. So I will write display. Instead of the default display property is inline, so instead of inline I will write block. Getting, student? Here I am changing, means I am assigning as per my requirement. I want to display all B tag in different line like a block. So I have changed display and I have written a value called block. Now let me save, and I want to change the color. For example, I am going to assign green. So all the text color of B tag will be green. Now you will notice that KMS, college and ACOM, these 3 elements, these 3 content will come in different line, or it will come as a block element like this one. So when I refresh, you will see that now it is coming like a block. This is the first block for B, this is the second block for B, and this is the third block for B. Means we have manipulated, we have changed. Are you getting it? It's a very easy, student. Just the first thing is that you have to understand every HTML elements have certain display nature. Either it can be inline or it can be block element. Okay, so on the basis of our requirement, we can change it to inline or we can change it to block. Okay, so now I am going to change to this H1. So I am going to write H1 and I will assign the same property, Control C, and I am going to paste over here. Instead of green, I will assign to red. Okay, this is your property, means you have displayed. So this is H1 I have assigned. Now it will convert your block element into inline. So assign inline property, inline, save it. Getting? Let me save display inline and color equal to red. H1. Okay, there is certain issue. Okay, this is the problem of copy paste. Now refresh. Now we'll notice that okay, the all three HTML H1 tag is coming in the same line, but the content KMS3 is coming in new line. Why? Because it occupies the whole page. If your content is little short, for example, if I write KMS welcome, for example, I am writing welcome in all the content. Okay, means all three. Okay, all three H1 tag displaying welcome only. Now you will notice that okay, welcome, this is coming from first one, and this is coming from second, and this is coming from third. Even if you write in new line, okay, means if you have written all three H1 in different line in new line, but it will display in same line. It will display in same line. See the difference. Welcome is coming in same line. Again, it's coming in same line. Getting student? This is the property that is called display property. By using display property, we can manipulate, we can change according to our requirement. Now we have values. I just want to show you in my PowerPoint presentation. So we have seen these are some HTML. Now these are the values. In examination, there can be a question: what is the values for display property? So the display is a property. Okay, display is the name of property, and these are some valid values. These values we have seen. First we have seen inline. What is inline? It will display element in a same line. And what is a block? It will display in a block or in new line. Then we will see what is a none. None property is used to remove, or it is used to disappear when you use none. For example, I have H1 tag right now. Okay, if I go and write display none. Display none means I don't want to display these elements. Okay, I don't want to display. Save it. When you refresh the page, currently it's showing. When you refresh it, this content will remove. Getting? Where I have changed. I have changed to H1. Sorry, I have to change to H1. That's why H1 welcome message is disappear. Okay, only B tag is showing. So student, getting what we have done till now, we have seen what is the display property, what is the use of display property, what is the natural display property of a particular HTML element like inline or block. Then we have seen some values like inline, block and none. Now I want to show you the new property called inline block. Inline block means what? Inline block, for example, now you want to assign inline block instead of this none. I want to write inline block. Okay, inline block, this is the new property inline block. I have written to H1. Now see the difference. Okay, now it will display. New line block means it is creating a block. Okay, it is creating a block but in a same line. It is creating a block, it is displaying in a block but in a same line. If I remove this one, currently it's an inline. Okay, currently it's an inline. Now see the place where it displayed, it will change, it will come up. Okay, see, it is displaying without any block. Okay, see the space on top and bottom of this element. Now when I add inline block, okay, inline block, I just want to add inline block. When I click on save button, now you will see it will display in a same line but it will create a block. A block means a section. Now it will take some section or new line. See, some space added just below this element and some space added just above this element. Getting, this is the property of inline block. Student, hope you understand what we have learned in today's lecture. This lecture was very important because first thing is that you have to know what is the natural property, natural display property of an HTML element. Then on the basis of your requirement you can change by using display property. So by using display property you can change your HTML element to 4 values. The value can be block, the value can be inline, the value can be inline block, and the last the value can be none. Okay, thanks for watching. That's for today. Stay tuned with this channel, many things to come. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.